Hello, everyone. My name is Darren White. I'm the Warden of Dufferin County, and I'm joined this morning by Steve Anderson. Steve is the Deputy Mayor of the town of Shelburne, and he is also a county councillor. We're going to be talking today about the unfortunate events that are happening in the U.S., and that being sort of the racist, the unbelievable, brutal murder of George Floyd the other day, which has triggered unrest. Once again, unfortunately, it seems that we almost never learn our lesson. And I do want to start by saying, as warden of the county, I for sure, absolutely and unequivocally condemn racism and hatred in our communities. And I urge people to educate themselves and to follow a better path, a path of peace and acceptance and compassion, rather than one of hatred and division. And I'm a firm believer that the only way things are going to change here, Steve, I think, is that good cops need to stand up and talk to their unions and their associations and force them to take action on the bad cops. It has to happen, but it's not just that, you know. So Steve, let's dispense with titles today. Let's just be Steve and Darren. And why don't you tell me your thoughts and tell us what you're feeling? And yeah.
Thanks, Darren. It's great to have this conversation with you and for you to take this leadership role in really initiating this very important conversation. You know, the feeling has been one of an emotional roller coaster, to be quite honest with you. It's ups and downs. There's, I akin it to the stages of grief. First, there's the shock, and then there's the anger and the frustration, and then there's somewhat acceptance. And whether I've reached the conclusion of acceptance as of yet, I don't know. But what I'm hoping to do is to parlay these feelings, these emotions into solutions, positive solutions for our community. So, you know, you talked about, what the police officers and, and what they have to do, and good officers standing up against bad officers. And I agree with you on that, Darren. I did a Facebook post when this event started, and I was really careful to point out that, as you know, and are quick to highlight the great work that our men and women are doing in uniform. But what we saw was unmistakable, and I'm certain that it doesn't represent all police officers and the work that they do. But this was clearly an injustice, and I'm glad that we have the opportunity to speak about it.
Yeah, for sure. I know a lot of cops across the country in different areas. Some of the volunteer work I do, it involves a lot of police officers in leadership positions. And I can tell you, the vast majority of them would say we need to get rid of the bad cops. But there are still those that are going to say, you just don't understand law enforcement. And I don't think that's an acceptable way to view this as we move forward. I mean, we've become evolved in so many ways in knowledge, medicine, technology. We're still doing the same thing with our fellow human beings. I just don't get it. I just don't.
Yeah, and you know what? Elected officials, police officers, firefighters, they're all, at the end of the day, members of the community, and that's why I certainly don't want to pigeonhole it to, just that of officers. It's really a community issue and a community problem. I did an interview yesterday with My FM, and I was quick to point out, and I'll point out for the listeners today, and that is, we have to move away from characterizing these incidents as black, white, brown issues. These are community issues that impact us all. Racism and injustice impacts us all. And, Warden, I spoke about yesterday, somebody asked me, what would you like to see with respect to a response to this issue? And I said, I'd like to see the response that we've seen for COVID-19 to this issue, where there's a galvanization of the community of different races and backgrounds, understanding that there's an insidious virus that impacts us all, and that we all need to find a role and a place to assist in combating that virus, because the risk is, if there's inaction, there is tremendous loss of life and mental anguish. And I akin it to this, where, like COVID-19, the responses that we've seen across the board, that we need to see something similar in dealing with this issue.
Yeah, you're so right. I mean, it's across all areas of our society. And, you know, I, for one, I enjoy watching the demographics of our communities change, particularly in the town that you're the deputy mayor of. Shelburne has changed so much over the last, decade and even shorter period of time. And I enjoy watching that happen. I think it's a great thing for our communities to get to be experienced with all different races and religions and whatnot. It gives people an opportunity, I think, to learn about others. And it sort of even goes back to the raising of the Pan-African flag back in February for Black History Month. It's the first time it was ever done in Dufferin County, and I was really proud and honored to be asked to be a part of that. And but those things, uh, even the fact that it's the first time, we just don't understand why. It has to be. I think we need you're right, a fulsome approach and a very heart-to-heart discussion to stop seeing things along the lines of black, white, red, yellow, whatever. I've only ever known you to be a thoughtful, well-educated, well-spoken politician. I choose to see past the fact that you're a black man. It doesn't change my opinion of you, black or white. It really doesn't. I just know that you're excellent at your job, and you're a very good representative of the community you work for. So, sort of, I think more people need to go down that path and become more accepting.
Yeah, and that's certainly the hope and the wish for all of us. And the feelings are mutual. It's not about seeing color; it's about seeing substance, seeing character, and seeing a willingness to work together. And we certainly have that at the county table and at our municipal tables as well. And I just want to pick up on something that you said about the raising of the Pan-African flag. And it's important that I point out to the listeners that by having this conversation is to by no ways diminish the great work that has been done by various members of our community to really bring our community together. So whether it's the raising of the Pan-African flag, we have a number of Indigenous groups that are ensuring that the rights of our Indigenous are preserved and protected. We have organizations like Celebrate Your Awesome that are making sure that the issues of the LGBTQ are sort of in the forefront and that their rights are being adhered to. So this is, again, today we're focusing on, if you want to put it that way, a particular group and the sort of injustices faced by a group. But the county and our municipalities have done a great job. Are we there yet? The answer is no, but we've made tremendous strides. And the purpose of these kinds of conversations is to move from the feelings of anguish, despair, uncertainty to a point where we have solutions, recommendations that are being made so that there's a positive pathway forward.
Yeah, I agree. And it was just yesterday I raised the Pride flag for Pride Month in Dufferin County for the first time ever again. And, we need to really get to a point where these groups that are marginalized are no longer marginalized. They're just commonplace in society and fully accepted. And I commit to you today that I'm happy to do whatever is necessary and whatever I can do as warden or as a local mayor, a local leader, to help move these issues forward. So if there's something I can do, don't hesitate to ask. And that goes out to any member of the community as well who feels marginalized in whatever group. I'm happy to do whatever I can do with my voice to make things different and to get us to a place that's a little bit more enlightened.
And I agree with that 100%. And I thank you for that, Warden. And I would certainly invite the listeners, if they have ideas, regardless of who you are and what you look like, ideas as to how we could move forward or be better, rather as a community, we would certainly welcome your thoughts and your questions. I'm sure you could direct them to maybe the county staff, warden, and I'm sure they will filter that down to us, where we will be able to take a look and see what we could do moving forward. I do want to point out that there are a lot of groups and individuals that, as a result of this unfortunate incident, that have reached out to me from the various different backgrounds, some of our local police officers, and others that are have saw what has unfolded and are looking for ways to make a difference. I was speaking to the youth advisory leader in our community, Alethea O'Hara-Stevenson, she's talking about registering the Dufferin Black Canadian Association, really to take on some of these issues and to bring awareness. And so I know that she will be bringing this organization forward, working hopefully with the different levels of government, including the county, and working as in partnership to address some of these issues. Because and I want to emphasize this: it's great to have the conversations, but it's important to have actionable steps where people are being held accountable by way of what they're saying, and that we could see meaningful change. So I am glad that through your leadership that you are open to these discussions and the steps moving forward.
Yeah, by all means, I'm happy to do whatever helps. Well, I think we're just about out of time today, Steve. So I'd like to thank you again very much for this conversation this morning. It's certainly a very important issue, and we need to tackle it moving forward. It's the only way for us to evolve to a better society. So thank you very much, and we'll talk again soon. Thanks.
All right, have a good day. Thank you.
Bye-bye.